Hi everybody. So we're going to talk about consumer choice in today's world. And I'm going to look at something that most people don't look at when they're deciding upon a brand or a product that they choose to go with. Like everything else on my channel, it's a little bit different how I look at things. So it's a perspective, of course. So not everybody's going to agree with me, but we're gonna kind of dissect some of these choices that consumers choose, but without realizing what they're actually choosing. So we'll start off like this. In the United States of America, every 4 years, we vote on who the president of the United States will be. And the idea is the majority vote wins. So somebody gets to be a president because most people voted for this particular person, and the person who gets the most votes wins. The reality of it is that's not actually true. The person who wins is not the person who gets the most votes, but the person who gets the most electoral votes. Otherwise, the United States has something called the Electoral College, and they actually determine who gets to be the president and not the actual population themselves. A long time ago, and this is old methodologies, was, we had so many people across such a humongous part of the world, and at that time communication was not as advanced as it is nowadays. So to combine and make things simpler, instead of counting 50 million or 100 million people's votes in a very short amount of time, the particular region or area would vote for the person who was part of this congregated system, combined system, the Electoral College itself. So for every person who has a vote in the Electoral College, 100,000 people or 1 million people would vote for that particular person. So 1 million people condensed down to one person to make that vote for them. So in the end, we vote for the Electoral College, and the Electoral College actually determines who gets to be the president of the United States. Now, fast forward to nowadays, we have better technologies. Do we really need the Electoral College? Absolutely no, we don't. We have communication systems that are instantaneous from one part of the country to the next. Doesn't matter if you're in Hawaii to Maine. You can send a communication literally halfway around the world instantaneously. So counting votes is a whole lot easier. Is it still complicated? Yes, because people are still thinking, hey, this state or so, they didn't vote for this and they want to recount. The recount only determines who the person in Electoral College gets to, who is the designated representative for that particular region in the Electoral College. So realistically, a person's vote doesn't matter anymore. Anybody who's watching this, any person who watches YouTube, doesn't matter who you are. You can be a senator. Your vote doesn't really matter. Even the person, if you're part of the Electoral College, your vote still doesn't matter. One person's vote does not matter. 100,000 people's votes doesn't matter. 1 million people's votes doesn't matter, because 1 million people might have voted for the opposing person. But still, that whole state will vote for the opposite person, because that 1 million people's votes or so might have not adjusted that Electoral College for the entire state of whatever. So that doesn't work very well. So let's talk about something that's less political, and let's talk about a person's vote when it comes to how society runs. Now, if you think about it, what determines what becomes successful in the world? What companies, what particular technologies become successful wherever it is in your region, in your country, around the world, is based upon a vote. And how does that vote work instead? It's the consumer dollar, as we call it. You vote by buying something, and you say, hey, I want this. And most of the things that are wants like a cell phone, like a tablet, like a computer, like a unnecessary cup that probably a $2 cup or a $1 cup would do just as well as a $20 cup. In the end, you vote for what works for you, as well as what works for your region, as well as for society. Convenience, as they say. And I'm going to talk about 4 companies. Microsoft, Apple, we're going to talk about Tesla, and we're going to talk about Alphabet. Alphabet is the umbrella company for Google's, YouTube, stuff like that, and their branches of all those things. Apple's got their own branch of stuff that they make. Tesla as well too, a bunch of stuff that they make, as well as a company, Microsoft, has a bunch of branches of stuff that they make. And every one of them delves into one another's market to some extent. Now, when it comes to consumerism, is that the same thing as voting for the President of the United States? Actually, yes, it is. The only difference when it comes to voting for the president versus for these companies is the president, like I said, the popular vote, the person who decides who votes for the president doesn't vote for the president. They vote for the Electoral College. Rather, if you buy a product from Google or Alphabet, from Tesla, from Apple, from Microsoft, your vote directly affects these companies, the social impact these companies have, as well as the popular vote, as in what happens to the world around you because you chose this company over one of these other companies. The benefit of being a consumer is, can you choose all 4 companies? Absolutely. If you choose to buy a product from Apple or from Alphabet, from Tesla, from Microsoft, can you buy it? Absolutely. You might buy different products because you're not going to buy a tablet from Apple, a tablet from Microsoft, a tablet from Alphabet, and Tesla, they don't make tablets yet, so we won't go there. But once again, you're not going to do that. You're going to buy maybe the cloud system from Microsoft, and the phone from Apple, and the car from Tesla, and maybe bottom line is every product that you buy is going to be different. Lots of different products, each one comes with its own category. Now let's talk about what you're actually buying into. Now, all these companies, do they have great products? Yes, they do. And that's the reason why I chose these 4 companies. There are many, many, many more companies in this world that make excellent products, but these 4 companies are a good comparison because of their social impact, because they have different social impacts based upon their goals. So we're going to start with, let's just start with Alphabet. Alphabet is a technology company similar to Apple, Microsoft, and Tesla. They're all technology companies. They all develop and revolutionize or try to make the world better through technology. It's not that that's their goal, it's just ultimately how do they choose to do it. Alphabet, and we're going to do this by looking at these mission statements and what they mean. Alphabet's mission statement is very, very simple. Bottom line is, if you look at their mission statement, their whole focus of their entire system was to be able to have information. Think of Google's search engine. That's kind of how they started. It is information available to everybody. So their focus is on, in general, empowering people, giving them the capacities and the opportunities to understand whatever part of their world that somebody wants to understand better. So if you think about Alphabet, is it a bad company or a good company? Well, it has to make money somehow, and that's the key thing is Google, everybody's like, hey, these privacy concerns or whatever it is. Well, they make all this stuff free to the consumer. Their Google search engines, YouTube, whatever it is, they make it free, but they gotta pay for it somehow. So first off, don't complain about all this advertisement, all this thing about tracking you and tracking your likes and dislikes and your preferences, because in the end, that's the only way they can make money, because you're not paying for it. If you're paying for it, then they don't have to do all these advertisements, this extra tracking and advertising to you. It's free. What more do you really want? And truthfully, the single person, you're not that important. There's nothing that you do that really matters to the overall world, to the ecosystem. So there's nothing, who cares about your privacy? If you choose to use Google, expect them, or Google's search engine, or Gmail, their email systems, YouTube, expect them to take that information so that they can drive marketing and advertisement to you. They could care less if you're a spy or if you're a CIA agent or whatever it is. They could care less. That's besides the point. The point is, the only reason why they really do it is so that they can make money off of you. Why do they need to make money? They have to support these systems somehow. But their ultimate goal is what? To provide that information, to provide that knowledge, or to empower you to be able to get that information and knowledge. Well, of course, it comes at having to sell you goods and products or whatever it is, to be able to support all the servers and all the people that help to make these technologies possible. But like I said, they could care less if you're a CIA agent or I'm sorry, any YouTuber. You don't matter to Alphabet that much. I mean, the only thing you matter to Alphabet is they're going to find some way to be able to profit off of you through their advertisement, AdSense, whatever it is. They're advertising technologies, because that's how they build revenue. That's how they make money. It's kind of like a brick in the Great Wall of China. 1 billion bricks. You're just one of them. You take that brick out, it's not going to take the wall down. I'm sorry, just one person is not that important. So everything that somebody does, I don't care if you're a millionaire, a billionaire, an influencer, whatever it is, to Alphabet, you don't matter overall. You're just one person. Live with it. But the fact is, that's the biggest thing about Alphabet. But they're there to empower what? The spread of knowledge, the ability to obtain knowledge. So they're a great system to provide that. Tesla, we'll talk about Tesla next. Their mission statement is what? To spread, to encourage, to advance the world to sustainable energy, which means what? Their biggest focus is to try to save the environment, not save the world, not save the earth, but save the environment for humanity, to maintain an environment that humanity can survive in. So that's their biggest focus. So we know one thing is fossil fuels, burning of fossil fuels and all this stuff is really, really bad for the environment. Not just the carbon emissions, but all the other systems, wastewater, just manufacturing all this extra generation of all these toxic products because of the utilization of fossil fuels and fossil resources, as some people term it. So what does Tesla want to do? They're encouraging, they're empowering the world. They're providing the systems to do what? To make the world sustainable, to provide renewable energy, and in the end, provide it at a fairly inexpensive cost in the long run, which means what? We can survive longer as humanity grows and expands. As humans become more and more technologically advanced, our carbon footprint increases. So how do we offset that carbon footprint? Well, Tesla is looking at renewable sources instead of something that lasts 5 years or so, maybe something that lasts 20 years, a little bit longer, so it's more sustainable because you don't need to replace it more frequently. So these, fossil fuels, well, there's a carbon footprint for making a battery or whatever it is. But if it lasts 20 years and it provides the same energy as burning fossil fuels for 20 years, is it a smaller carbon footprint? Absolutely. And they do it not for free. They charge everybody for everything that they do. Think of a car you buy from Tesla. Well, the prices go down as manufacturing improves, becomes more efficient, and more bulk buying occurs. So as a person, you buy into the product. You're saying, hey, I like your products, I'm voting for you. So you vote for the sustainability. Makes sense. Now, Microsoft, on the other hand, what has been their mission statement? Their mission statement is to provide technologies to the world to help everyone have the opportunity to make the world better, to advance society by providing them the tools and resources to, in a sense, reach for their dreams. Part of Microsoft is free. Think of their search engine, some of their technologies, even some of their free products or so, like Microsoft Drive, OneDrive, or whatever it is. There's a certain tier that's free, and then the rest of it you have to pay for. So part of it is free, part of it is you have to pay for. And the benefit of it is their job is to do what? Like these other companies, Alphabet or Tesla, is to empower people, to give them resources, to give them the technologies, give them the opportunity, and make it available to people who maybe don't have those resources available. So it costs less because it's free for them to be able to do this. Yes, you have to pay for their laptop or even their operating system, which they have dealt a free version out. So there's the free version of their operating system is available for everybody, but there's a tier for corporations and companies that come at a cost. So you can't complain about them. Well, if you like their technologies, you like their vision, you like their model, their focus, then that's great. So they try to build great products as best as they can. They are financially savvy as well too. So their job is to sustain empowering people to do something better, to advance society, to advance technology, to advance the world around them and make the world better. So Tesla tries to make the world better. Alphabet tries to make people smarter. Microsoft tries to empower people and give them the tools and resources. Let's talk about Apple. Apple makes excellent products. What is their mission statement? To provide you with products, to give you better technologies, make it more available so that you can drive whatever imaginations, whatever consumer actions you want. And once again, these four companies you vote on by delving into their ecosystems, buying their products, whatnot. You delve into Alphabet's ecosystem by performing a search on them or by watching a YouTube, because it allows them to understand humanity better. You vote for Tesla by buying a Powerwall from them or a car from them or their mega packs or whatever it is. You vote for Microsoft by, once again, either utilizing their free services or paying for their paid services. Apple, on the other hand, you vote for them by buying their product. Now, if you look at their mission statement, is it a bad mission statement? No, it's not a bad mission statement. But what are you actually choosing when you choose Apple versus Alphabet or Microsoft versus Tesla? Well, technically, if you look at their mission statement and you break it down, bottom line is their focus is to, hey, we want to sell you stuff. And ultimately, we want you to give us our money. That is their biggest focus. It's greed-based. So the whole point of Apple is to build products and put it at a price point and make it where you want their products, so you buy their products. Can it empower you to be better? Absolutely. Think of Apple's tablets or so. They don't create the ecosystems that make it better. They just create the product, so you'll buy it from them. So they make them pretty. They make them really easy to use. But in the end, pretty and easy to use makes you want it, and therefore you're going to buy it, regardless of the cost. So you look at the manufacturing and the profitability of Apple, humongously profitable, because their iPhones might only cost them $400 or $500 to make and be able to deliver it to somebody, and somebody buys it for $1,100 or $1,000. They make a humongous profit. That's the only way they can support their ecosystem, is to build products. Do they have really anything free? Sort of yes and sort of no. If you delve into their ecosystem, yeah, you have all these things that are free, but ultimately a very, very small portion of their system is free for you to really be able to try out, to how do you put it this way? Give them a chance. Once you get delved into their ecosystem, is it really hard to get out of their ecosystem? Absolutely. Like any Tesla or Alphabet or Microsoft, once you're delved into once you have that buy-in into their ecosystem, switching from one system to the next is extremely difficult. And that's the benefit of it, is once you're in, you're in. You don't really switch between ecosystems, and there's always going to be, hey, Apple's better, or Alphabet's better, or Microsoft's better, or Tesla's better. Well, these companies, it's not about how better a company is, it's about how you choose and what these companies represent overall. Do I think Tesla is a good company? I think they're a fair company. Right now, they're trying to build their technological prowess, and they're advancing technology to do what? Their biggest focus is for sustainability. Are they going to get there? I believe they will, based upon their empowerment, based upon their drive. They're going to get there. Are they there yet? No, not yet. Microsoft, their ability to empower and create resources and structures for the world to be able to utilize. Are they there? Yeah, actually, they are pretty much there. It's just choice if you want to utilize their systems, their ecosystems, their products or not. Alphabet, they are available worldwide for free. The only thing they're asking for is for you to let them track you like, I don't know, like a dog, I guess. I don't know. That's how Alphabet works. It's because that's how they make their money. And like I said, Microsoft or Apple or all these companies, do they really care if you're a billionaire or if you're a 1,000-aire or whatever it is? Realistically, a single person is just not that important. Even a group of 10,000 people. Yeah, it's nice to know what 10,000 people are driving towards, because that means they can make money off of a group of 10,000 people if they're kind of driven in the same way. But even 10,000 people to Apple, Microsoft, Alphabet, or even Tesla, you're not that important even as a group of 10,000 people. I know that everything I say, like I said, I'm only going to affect a very, very small crowd of people. At some point, this might be watched. The good news is, I really doubt anybody's going to watch the full episode. This is about being smarter. It's about nerding the understanding of these companies and how they market to you about that vote. And that's the key thing, is if you vote for these companies, what are you saying? These companies are what you want society's drives to be. Well, Apple, more of it a market thing. It's more of, hey, I want you to be a dumb buyer and just buy our shit, or buy our products, I'm sorry. Can anybody make those products? Sure, of course. Anybody can manufacture those products. But once again, they've done it in a way. They have their secret sauce, their mixtures of technologies versus user interface versus software that drives their products to be reliable, but also something that people enjoy utilizing. So buy their stuff, great. Alphabet, their job is to empower knowledge. Okay, they're doing their job. They're providing it for free. All they ask is you turn into somewhat of a drone. Microsoft, they're empowering the world to be smarter, to think better, to do things. Even if you have a disability, they want to figure it out. They want to see if they can empower somebody with a disability and help them pass those disabilities. Really cool what they do sometimes. Tesla, their job is to what? To provide resources for humanity to be sustainable. Vote for these companies. I'm not saying vote for them. I'm not saying buy any of their products. Are they good? Some of them I agree with, some of them I don't. I have used a laptop from Microsoft for quite a while now. Why? Not because it's the easiest product to use, but it empowers me to do so many more things than any other product I've ever had. And that fits for me. Does it fit for everybody? Of course not. Do I own a Tesla? No, I don't. Will I say, hey, you should buy a Tesla? No, I'm not going to say that either. But if it fits for your vote because that company has the same mentality, same psychology, same empowerment that you want the world to have, that's what you should vote for. Microsoft, Alphabet, Apple, they all run in different social motivations. Let's call it that. Similar to this particular president or that particular president, they all have certain drives that make them choose or make them focus or make them want to focus on certain aspects at the time that they're in power, when they're in office. But they can only do so much. Similarly, these companies can only do so much. There's so many more companies out there that are struggling, that are trying to get your dollars to do what? So that they can drive their social focuses. Will these companies do good for society? I hope so. I wish I could say they do. I know Microsoft has spent many, many generations building their systems, their ecosystems, their effect on the world to be a positive effect. There's always going to be negative news or commentary about them. But stop looking at the negative side. Look at what the company's focus actually is. That's the more important thing, is what does this company drive for? And then look to see if they have actually met those goals, are still working towards, are still driven to meet that statement, that mission that they have. That's what's important about the vote, is that you choose something versus a company or the president that is driven to focus on making the world better. And sometimes my personal opinions or your personal opinions may not actually be what makes the world better overall. We're only looking at a small facet of how we think. We're not looking at how, if the world were to think the same way I do or you do, or how this president or this company thinks, if everybody thought the same way, would it work? We don't know, because that's never really happened before. Does everyone try to make the world better? Yes. But there's always going to be some tension, some backlash, some friction. It's going to occur. You got to get past it and look at what that focus is. And maybe if you can't change the person that's sitting at the top, maybe you can't change the mission of this particular company. Maybe you can encourage the positive side of that mission. Think of Microsoft. They have their cloud-based system. They have their computers and cell phones that they make, and they have their software that they make as well too. Well, if you hate their software, just don't buy their software. Buy their cloud system, because they have an excellent cloud system. Don't worry about the rest. Just focus on the things that matter. That's how you vote for what is important to you, is vote for or spend the money or delve into the ecosystem that drives the good that you're comfortable driving. Hopefully that in the long run, regardless if it's the president or a senator or a congressman or anyone in political power, these companies that have humongous social effect on the world, that they're driven to do what's good for society. Are they going to make a profit while they're doing it? If they're successful, they will as well too. So hopefully that's the case. Thank you.